Hello, pet parents. This is Soumya from Pet Fair India, your host for today as well. And as promised, we're back with another session of Ask the Expert, where we take important topics that will be important for your pet. And we have experts coming on board to be able to discuss about the topic. So the topic for today is pet nutrition. We'll be discussing more about pet nutrition. And here with us, we have Dr. Anish Pillai. He's a vet manager from Farmina Pet Foods. Hi, Dr. Anish. Welcome to the live chat.
Thank you, Soumya.
How are you doing?
I am good. How are you, Soumya?
I'm good too. Thanks. So, for viewers who are watching right now, let's talk some bit about Dr. Anish. Dr. Anish Pillai is a graduate from Madras Veterinary College. He has over 12 years of experience in the pet food industry, and he's currently working as veterinary manager for the Asia Pacific region for Farmina Pet Foods.
Yes, thank
All
you.
right. So, Dr. Anish, these are mere facts about you, but, asking you a few of personal questions. Can you tell us that what was that moment in your life where you decided that you wanted to pursue pet nutrition and, some nutrition specific to the pet care industry? And what was that defining moment in your life that led you to take this decision?
See, I was when I was doing my graduation. So usually we used to go to our clinics by in the fourth year and the final year, fifth year. Okay, so we my professors always used to tell me that here the most of the problems are because of the diet, and we don't have anyone to guide in a proper way. At that point of time, there were in the industry also the companies were very few companies were there, and even this was a segment which had a future, and
Okay.
that is the reason why I had opted for this pet nutrition segment, that is pet
Right.
food. Yeah.
Right, right. That's nice. And you know what? So you're a vet manager with Farmina Pet Foods. Can you tell us something about this role? What vet manager's role inculcate in pet food company like Farmina India?
See, I am a single point of contact for all product means product details for anything related to Farmina Pet Foods for
Okay,
regarding technical things, and
right.
if for any customer complaints also for any doubts also I am the single point of contact, and I am also responsible to help the distributors to register various our pet food company to start operations in different countries of Asia.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So, just to delve more into what Farmina does. So, many people already know, and I would like to reiterate that Farmina is also it's a pet food company, and they have recently started their nutrition consultancy plans, which are basically they provide free and customized dietary plans for pets across India. So anybody who is interested in getting a customized dietary plan, they can definitely sign up in this link. It's mentioned in the comments below. And to everybody who's watching us right now and who's joined us now, we are here with Dr. Anish Pillai, and we'll be discussing more about pet nutrition. And whoever has queries regarding nutrition for their pets, for their dogs, cats, please drop in your queries in the comments below, and Dr. Anish will answer them for you. Moving on, let's.
I just wanted to add one thing, Sonia.
Yes,
Farmina
yes,
as a pet nutrition company, we understand and we know the benefits of both overfeeding and underfeeding. And to give a proper diet, the proper rationing is very important for a pet, and
right.
it will help to increase the life expectancy of a pet. And that is the reason we came up with this program of nutrition consultant. So I would request all the clients to please utilize this program from Farmina.
Amazing. Okay,
It
so
is entirely free of cost. It is for
right.
pet parents. Yeah.
Right. So, that brings me to my first question for you. So, before we start taking questions from the audience, I have a few questions for you, Dr. Anish, which brings me to the first question after you mentioned that, you guys know that there is a, what is the importance of like underfeeding and overfeeding. So, basically, I just want to know that humans, we read all about having a balanced diet for us humans, and we are often taught of balanced diet and complete balanced diet of humans as since we were kids. So when it comes to our own pets, what is the complete balanced diet for pets, and can you like throw some knowledge on that, whether there is something of a balanced diet for pets that exists, and if it does, what are the few items that you would list that will make like a complete balanced diet for our pets?
Uh, First of all, I will start with the definition. What is the meaning of complete and balanced diet? The
Right.
complete and balanced diet means a diet which contains all nutrients. Nutrients, for example, it might be protein, carbohydrates, fats, minerals, vitamins. Okay, so
Right.
any diet which contains all the nutrients in a required form in a required amount, that is called as balanced nutrition. So, like human beings, pet also require a complete and balanced diet. So, we can. The problem is in India is that we mostly pet parents they try to feed their homemade diets. Only 4% of the pets in India are on pet food. So we should understand as a pet parent that we can make a home complete and balanced diet using a home food, but it is very difficult to measure how much protein you are giving, how much fat you are giving. If you are balancing all these things, then how much minerals you are giving, how much vitamins you are giving. It is very difficult to measure, and that is
Right.
why every pet food companies after many researchers and after passing through many regulations, they came up with a balanced pet food. So it is always advisable for a pet to give a complete and balanced pet food.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, that brings me to another very important question that I'm sure you face on a daily basis, and even we do from our followers. That, what is the criteria to choose the right kind of pet food?
Mm, See, whenever you choose a pet food, so don't go. Usually, what happens, the pet parents they always look at the percentages, guaranteed analysis. If you look back at the label, there will be some percentages mentioned, and everyone believes that if the protein percentage is more, then the pet food is going to be better. It is not like
Right.
that. Always try to read the labels.
Right.
So in the label, there will be a column called as ingredients, so which
Right.
mentions what are the ingredients used for this production of this particular pet food. So usually what happens, if the proteins from animal sources are more, then the pet food is considered to be better. So you have to look at the bioavailability. Bioavailability means how much we ate and how much the pet can absorb, how much
Hmm.
the pet can use for its daily action, daily maintenance.
Right.
That is called
Right.
as bioavailability. For
Right.
example, and one more thing, as a pet parent we should understand that as per the labeling law, all the ingredients should be arranged in a descending order, which means that the first
Okay.
ingredient is the most used ingredient in that particular
More
pet food, and you have to check
interesting.
how many animal source ingredients are used. For example, if you
Right.
see NLD products, so if you I can challenge you that if you take the first eight ingredients, minimum six
Hmm.
ingredients will be from animal source, which means the
Right.
bioavailability is going to be high. If you see,
Right.
you can make a pet food or you can make a balanced diet by using by using byproducts also, by using for example, if we are using if we are, I am a non-vegetarian. I can
Right.
eat I love to eat chicken thighs. Okay, but if you compare the protein percentage of a chicken thighs with the protein percentage of a chicken feather, definitely the chicken feathers protein is going to be high, but whether we can eat it, no, because it is not digestible. Similarly, any pet food companies can increase, any companies can increase the percentage of protein by adding any byproduct. So we have
Okay.
to keep in mind that from where the protein or fat is coming. And
Right.
yeah, and for
Yeah.
especially for cat foods, whenever you choose a product, please look at the guaranteed analysis also. And for the carbohydrate content should be less in case of cats, because cats are obligatory carnivores, they are strict carnivores.
All right. Okay. So two things for people who are watching us, like Dr. Anish said, that two things are important: that you read the label of the pet food, and also always check the source of the pet food, the ingredients in the pet food. So again, like fine, if we select the pet food. Now the other question that we are faced with as pet parents, whether as dog parents or cat parents, and again, very extremely common query that everybody has or has had when they were new parents, is that how many times should I feed my dog or cat? And right now, in fact, there is a question by A.K. Mittal along the same lines, that how many times a day a Labrador of 2 years is to be fed to keep fit. So can you answer his question, and as well as can you give us an extended answer as to in general how many times should we feed our dogs or our cats in a day? And because I am also like highly confused about this one.
See, for if it is a puppy or a kitten, so generally the digestive system is very immature and they are very small. Okay, so
Right.
for a puppy or a kitten, you have to give the food at frequent intervals. For example, till the weaning period, till the first 3 months, you can give it 5 to 6 times for a puppy or a kitten. But
Okay.
as the age increases, you can reduce the frequency of it, number of intervals you are giving the diet. For example, by the time it reaches the adult, for example, for a Labrador, if it is at 8 months to 10 months, you can feed 3 times a day. But once it reaches 12 to 15 months or 16 months, it should be fed only once a day. So
Okay.
the answer for this question is it should be fed only one time a day. But
Okay.
it depends upon the condition of the dog. If the dog is healthy, you can feed one time. If the dog has some digestive issues like inflammatory bowel disease or something, so it is, and during those time it is recommended that you give small quantities at frequent intervals. Similarly
All
for,
right.
and for your question, similarly for cats, for adult cats, you can give up to recommended is 1 or 2 times for adults. But I have seen many people who give 5 times a day for cats. Yeah,
Okay. Okay. Dr. Anish, let's move on to a few questions by the audience who's
yeah.
watching us. Anushri says that she has a toy pom of 1.5 years. What is the proper quantity of food that should be given apart from dog food? What can I give her as a part of her diet? She's having one or two chapatis per day these days, apart from Royal Canin. And the weight of her toy pom is 7 kgs approximately.
See, first of all, I would recommend her to cut those chapatis. Okay, so because when she is giving her pet a proper balanced diet like the mentioned brand, there is no requirement to give additional any homemade diets. So
Right.
if you give additional homemade diets, you are going to introduce more carbs. Here you are going to introduce more carbs. And second thing, one thing we should always keep in mind that see chapatis are made up of grains, wheat. And if you look at the history of skin allergy, wheat is one of the most common food allergen in case of dogs. So my suggestion would be cut the chapatis and please look at the labeling part. So if for every dog food, they have mentioned how much to feed. That is mandatory as per law, feeding table. So that they have formulated depending upon the weight. Depending on the weight, they have estimated the metabolic energy requirement. See, for dogs and cats, they will not eat to fill their stomach. They will eat always according to their energy requirement. Metabolic energy means how much food, how much energy they have consumed, and how much energy is left in their body after the wastage through motion and urine. Okay,
Okay.
so
Okay.
so every pet food companies, they have made a feeding chart according to the metabolic energy requirement and the weight. So if you want to know exact quantity of your exact feeding quantity of your pet, you can either look at the feeding chart, or if you want to, you can take also use support from the Farmina nutrition consultant.
Great. Okay, I
Yeah.
hope Anushri, your question was answered. For people who are joining us now, we are here with Dr. Anish Pillai from Farmina Pet Foods, and we're discussing all the basics of pet nutrition. So please drop in your queries in the comment section below. I have a very interesting question here by Ajit. He says, Doctor, I'm sure all the breeder or the pet parents need the dog to be huge and heavy in size. So even if they give dog food, definitely they'll be adding the supplements like extra calcium, multivitamin supplements. What are the effects of these supplements on the dogs or the pup's growth? What all are the demerits? Is it advisable to add other food or supplements? And with the NND, thank you. So actually, like Ajit makes a very good point. Again, a very common question by pet parents, that whether or not we should be giving supplements with our food, and he's also specifically asking about whether the supplements can be given with ND product range. So can you throw some
See,
light on that?
yeah, sure. See, not only NND, any pet foods, they are complete and balanced. Okay, they are made after so many researches and after passing so many regulations.
Right.
So whenever your pet is on a complete and balanced diet, there is no need to add additional supplements or multivitamins. Okay.
Okay.
So instead of supporting the health of your pet, it is going to create more harm. For example, I can give you one example. So in India, it is a common scenario that we used to pump calcium supplements to the pets. So the people believe that if it is important for the growth, it is important for the bones. But one thing we should keep in mind, that not only the deficiency of calcium will cause skeletal problems. Even if you feed excess, then also it will cause problems in the skeleton. Okay. And one more important thing is that this calcium supplement will also interfere with the absorption of zinc. And
Right.
this mineral is very important to keep the maintain the moisture content of the skin. See, where in humans, whether we are black or white, our skin is shiny. It is because of the moisture content. Similarly, for dogs,
Right.
to maintain the moisture content, zinc is very important. When you add more of calcium, definitely what will happen? Zinc absorption will be disturbed, and it will cause dry skin. And if there is a dry skin, there will be scales, and which will prompt your pet to itch, to scratch.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
So this is just an example. So my advice would be, there is no requirement. If you are giving a proper ration of a complete and balanced diet, there is no need to give additional multivitamins and any other supplements, because it is going to harm your pet rather doing anything beneficial.
Right. Right. As they say, excess of anything can be bad.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. Again, very interesting question. Is it mandatory to have a non-veg part of our pet's diet? Because we have a lot of pet parents who are strictly vegetarian, and who follow strictly vegetarian diet at their homes. And often they have this query that we are not able to cook non-vegetarian food, or even get non-vegetarian food at home for our pets, whether it's chicken, mutton, etc. So how, and we also, like, I also personally know of pets who are on a vegetarian diet. Is it okay? Is that food enough for dogs and cats both? And if not, what other substitutes of pure non-veg food can we give such pets at their homes, in case
See,
chicken and fish and all cannot be given at home?
I understood. See, I understood the concern, but when we are owning a pet, we should understand that a dog or a cat, they are carnivores. Okay.
Right.
So in both in dogs, see the how we say it is a carnivore. So the carbohydrate digestion in human beings start from the mouth. We
Right.
have an enzyme called as salivary amylase, which starts the digestion of carbohydrates. In case of dogs, it is considered to be negligible, very limited. And in
Okay.
case of cats, it is 100% absent. So when you take it as a when in cat, they require more of protein and proteins that too from animal sources. For example, there are many nutrients like proteins like taurine, arginine, uh, vitamin A. So these nutrients a cat cannot produce in its body. Okay, a cat cannot produce its body, which a dog can produce. So they need meat as a source for these nutrients. So for cat vegetarian, you the answer would be exactly zero. No,
Okay.
answer is no. But in case of dogs, so there is a debate in the industry. Few people say that the dogs have some limited amount of ability to digest carbohydrates.
Hmm.
But the problem is that if you are going to add only vegetarian diet, so in the vegetarian diet, the protein content is going to be low. And second thing, the bioavailability, the amount of protein which will be available inside the body is going to be low, and the fiber content is going to be high. Okay. So if the fiber content is going to be high, the protein intake will become always less. Okay. And there will be many deficiencies, which may lead to many deficiencies. So if the answer for this question is that it is very important that we should add a non-vegetarian diet. It might be of any meat. It might be of egg. Okay, you have to add. And for pet parents who believe that they can't bring in chicken or fish to their home, it is very easy for them to use a commercial pet food
Right.
because yeah, it is very easy for them to use a commercial pet food because they don't have to handle a chicken or a fish, and of course the order will it will not also stink like a meat. Okay, so
Right.
it is, and the pet is going to get a balanced diet.
Right. So commercial pet food, any brand for that matter, is a perfect substitute for non-vegetarian food.
Yes, it is a complete and balance. That is the diet. That is the actual, yeah.
Right. Great. Okay. Moving on, we have Krishna Raj. He says that he has a Labrador, 1.5 years old, which is suffering from recurrent dermatitis. He's been fed with NND, lamb, and blueberry.
See, recurrent dermatitis, it's a very big topic. So
Okay.
dermatitis, any skin infection, it might be because of many reasons. For example, it might be because of tick infection. It might be because of a mite infection. Mite is a microscopical parasite and present in the skin of a dog. It might be
Right.
because of the intestinal worms. It might be because of food allergy. It might be because of environmental allergy. So it is a very big topic. Okay.
Hmm.
So
Right.
here, first thing I would recommend Mr. Krishna Raj to please check it with the veterinarian and to diagnose the exact reason. Exact reason why what is the cause for this dermatitis. So the chances it might, if it is a recurrent dermatitis, definitely it might be a chance of atopy, which we call it as
Right.
which is an environmental allergy.
Right.
Environmental allergy. It might be because of any pollens in the environment, or it might be because of some dust mites. We have to find that. We have to find the cause, and then we have to treat. And if you, and for in during those conditions, you can also try our NMD ocean products. Okay, so because in ocean products the omega 3 levels are too high, so and
Right.
it would be helpful for a dog with skin infection, because for any skin infection the first nutrient which is important is protein and fat and omega 3 and omega 6 fatty acids. So this
Right.
ocean diet, it has high anti-inflammatory properties, so you can try that diet.
Right. So, a lot of people like here also a lot of viewers commented about them feeding NND products of Farmina, and NND products in general are quite popular quite a popular product range in Farmina. So, what makes it stand out as a product range from other pet foods, especially the NND range? And like what are the different nutrients and everything that NND products have?
See, NND is a hyper premium diet. It's a
Okay.
hyper premium diet. So we have lines like Prime, which is for cats, which is a grain-free product, and we have for dogs we have a pumpkin range and an ancestral green range. And apart from this, this is for these three ranges are for maintenance. And apart from this, we have a range called as NND Ocean, which is a mixture of all the three ranges, which contains fish as the main source of protein. And apart from this, we have a functional range called as NND Quinoa, which is a functional range, which is for special conditions like the skin and coat diseases, for weight management, for urinary problems, etc. So generally, NND means natural and delicious. It is termed as natural and delicious because we use only natural ingredients. Even the preservatives which we use are natural. And yeah, as I mentioned earlier, if you take the label, if you take first 8 ingredients, minimum 6 ingredients will be from animal sources. And if you look at the protein, it is a high protein they are high protein diets with high biological value. Okay. And the omega 3 and omega 6 is also in the ratio of 3.5 is to 1, which means it has high anti-inflammatory. It prevents obesity. If you feed in a proper ration of NND for your dogs or cats for a lifetime, definitely it will avoid the problem of obesity, and it will prevent diabetes.
All
And
right.
it will also prevent skin diseases.
Okay, interesting. Uh,
Yeah.
so there is one question here, and this was also like one of the questions at the top of my list. What are the dairy home products for a dog in order of preference? Milk curd, cottage cheese, buttermilk, and not just in order of preference, but I'd like to add to this that again a constant debate between pet parents and other professionals in the pet care industry that whether or not dairy products should be given or can be given to pets, whether it's milk, cheese, butter, paneer, etc. So, how good or bad are these dairy products for our pets, both cats and dogs? And also, they say that all cats are supposedly lactose intolerant. Is it true? Are all of them like that, or is it just does it depend from cats to cats?
Yeah. So as a vet, I will always advise not to give milk, especially to adult, both dogs and cats. Okay.
Okay.
So any dairy product. See, if you are giving a sporadically, if you are giving some curd or a paneer, it will not produce any harm. But if when your pet is on a complete and balanced diet, and if you give any dairy product, you are going to increase the calcium level in the dog's blood, and it is going to cause side effects. Okay.
Okay.
And one more thing which we should understand is that, see, during a puppy stage or a kitten stage, they have lactase enzyme which can digest lactose in the cow milk. If you compare a cow milk and a dog milk, if cow milk and a dog milk, or a cow milk and a queen milk, queen is female of cat. So if you compare the milk, the lactose content of cow milk is going to be higher, and it is going to cause problems. So in puppy and kittens, they have a limited amount of lactase enzyme which can digest those lactose. But when once they become adult, this enzyme get diminished, and it may cause osmotic diarrhea. It may increase the absorption of water, and definitely you can see the motion would be somewhat loose. Okay, so as per, if you ask my advice, I would recommend not for any dairy product. But I have seen so many people giving curd and paneer during the summer season. Okay,
Hmm.
but as it is not recommended.
Right. Okay, let's move on to a few more audience questions. Um, can you adjust your headphones a little bit, Anish, if you're using them? Can you adjust them? There's a noise when you're speaking on the video. So,
Is it? Okay.
yeah.
Is it okay now?
Yeah, sounds fine. I'll let you know if you need to readjust. Let's move on to the audience questions. Let's take Gaurav's question. He says, I have a beagle 60 days old. Can you suggest good food? Giving egg or chicken is good for dogs.
See, your pet is 60 days old, and so it is in a weaning period. Okay, first 21 days for any pet, we say that we have to feed them a bitch milk. And from after 21 days, that is from 3 weeks to 3 months, we have to give them a weaning diet. Okay, so here you cannot give egg or a chicken because there are chances that it may not get digested. We should understand that the digestive capacity of a puppy in this period, when in a weaning period, it is in primitive stage. The bacterial flora in the large intestine is not developed, and so it has a limited capacity to digest a complex proteins like chicken. Okay. Egg, of
Okay.
course, you can give a little, but it is difficult. But it is better if you can give any starter diets, any weaning diets, because if any starter diets in the industry, it may have high protein, high fat, and high energy required for the growth of that particular puppy. Because this is the period when the puppy is growing at a very faster rate. Okay.
Right.
So, by the end of 3 months, it should attain at least 35 percentage of its body weight. So you have to give a very good high energy product.
Okay. All right. Um, okay. Any mineral or vitamin toxic to pets? Is there any, mineral or vitamins in terms of supplements?
See, I have mentioned one mineral which is calcium. Excess of sodium, that is salt. Excess of salt can also cause problems. Excess of
Okay.
white in fat soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K. There is all white fat soluble vitamins in excess. They can be toxic. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Anish, before we move on to other questions, can you please try speaking without the headphones? I think there's some issue with your microphone because it has.
Is it okay?
Yes, it works.
Okay.
Okay. Let's move on to other. This is actually an interesting question again by Krishnaraj. My Labrador is having a ligament tear. My vet put my dog on Farmina Wet Life joint food. Will this food have effect in ligament?
See, this product, see, the speciality of this VetLife joint product is that it contains equal proportion of omega 3 and omega 6. We should understand that, see, in any pet food, omega 6, the role of omega 6 fatty acid is to increase inflammation, to respond by inflammation, and the role of omega 3 fatty acid is to reduce inflammation. Okay. And so what happens, the in any normal pet food, the ratio of omega 6 is to omega 3 is in the ratio is from 5 is to 1 to 10 is to 1.
Hmm.
Okay. In this product, VetLife Joint Food, the ratio of omega 3 and omega 6, you can look at the label, it is almost in the ratio of 1 is to 1. Okay, 3.4 is to 3.8, which means it has a high anti-inflammatory effect. So definitely it will help to reduce the inflammation. For any
Okay.
joint problem, the major problem is going to be the inflammation of the joint and the
Okay.
pain. So this
Okay.
will help in anti-inflammation. And apart from this, it has enough a good quantity of chondroitin sulfate and glucosamine, which is going to help the joint of this particular pet. So don't worry about that. Wet left joint is a correct food for this problem.
Okay, so I hope Krishna Raju heard that. Uh, Again, Anushka covering a very important topic. My 5 months old golden retriever pukes after eating mango. Is it not advisable to give fruits to them? And adding on to that, like her dog obviously pukes it out. My dog loves mangoes and watermelons. So, but as pet parents, we're sometimes advised to not give fruits or to give certain fruits. So can you just advise us as to what which of the fruits and can be given to our pets, and which are actually good for them and which are actually bad for them. And in case
See,
of Anushka, what should she do?
yeah. See, whenever a pet is on a complete and balanced diet, there is no need to add any fruits. Okay, that is the first point. Second point, if you want to add fruits, sometimes sporadically, if you want to give fruits, so of course you can give mango. Mango is a fruit which is rich in vitamins and also rich in fiber. But keep in mind, this is mango is also a fruit which is rich in sugar,
Sugar.
carbohydrates.
Right.
Okay, so when you are feeding it to a senior pet, it might be, if you are going to give it continuously, it might cause some health hazards like diabetes.
Right.
Okay, so coming back to the fruits which you can feed to your pet, you can give apple, but one
Okay.
thing, you have to peel the skin of the apple. You have to take the core of the apple because it might cause choking, and remove the
Okay.
seeds of the apple. And most important point, slice it into small pieces. Don't give big pieces. Okay. Similarly, you can give blueberries. You can give
Okay.
watermelon. Of course, you can give during summers because watermelon contains around 90 percentage of water. But please make sure that take out the rind and take out the seeds.
Okay. Great.
More than the thing which we want to know is that we should know which fruits or vegetables we should not give. We should not
Right.
give grapes. We should not give raisins because they might cause renal failure. And also, we should not give uh, onions. We should not give garlics. They may
Okay.
cause hemolytic anemia. Anemia means they might cause damage to the red blood cells of the blood
Right.
of the blood.
Right.
So which may lead to deficiency of oxygen. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Um, so grapes is actually one of the fruits that we should avoid. Moving on, there is a constant debate about whether we should feed, whether dry food for dogs in terms of pet food is enough, or whether we should always have wet food accompanying our dog's dry food. So, can you tell us the importance of a wet food and in our pet's diet? And is or otherwise is dry food sufficient?
See, whatever the brand may be, first of all, whenever you choose a pet food, whether it is dry or wet, please look whether it is complete and balanced. Okay, if it is complete and balanced, you can give either dry food or either wet food. Both has its own advantage and disadvantage. See, when and if the pet food mentions it is supplementary, okay,
Right.
then you have to give additional supplements. See, dry food means the moisture content will be less than 10 percentage, and it would be energy dense. Energy dense. For example, for just an example, if for a
Right.
30 kg Labrador, you can give 400 gram of dry food for per day. So
Right.
that would satisfy the every requirement, every nutrient requirement of that particular. Okay, and if you look at the cost of the dry food, it would be very less. If you cost per meal would be less. But if
Right.
you take wet food contains 70 or more than 75 percentage of moisture. So definitely it is not energy dense, but it is complete. Some pets prefer wet food over dry food, and most of the pets they prefer wet food because pets love to eat diets with moisture.
Okay.
Okay, and but the problem here is that, for example, if you want to feed a wet food to a 30 kg Labrador, you might
Right.
have to feed 4 or 5 cans per day. So the cost would
Right.
be too high compared to that of a dry feed. But during the summer period, pets often they show they will not like dry food.
Okay.
Okay, they will show some hesitation. So during
Right.
this period you can give them you can mix a wet food with the dry food. Okay, the idea behind this mixed feeding is that one thing, you are going to increase the palatability of that dry food your pet is going to eat. And keep
Right.
in mind, the formulation should be in such a way that 75% of the energy should come from the dry food and 25% of the energy should come from the wet food.
Okay.
Understood? And dry food has its own speciality. Whenever a pet bites a kibble, it is going to clean the teeth also. And
Oh, okay.
if you feed a wet food continuously for a lifetime of a pet, there may be a chance that it might cause some plague or
Teeth problems, right?
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Very, it's a very interesting and unknown fact that you share. Okay. We have another question. What are the major minerals a dog needs in food? Is it same for all the breeds?
See, we can't say that it is a major mineral or minor mineral. Mineral means
Mhm.
some minerals, a nutrient which we need it in a smaller quantity. There are two classifications for that. One is called as macro minerals, where
Mhm.
among the minerals, some the requirement would be in a little larger amount. For example, calcium, phosphorus, sodium, chlorine, potassium. And for micro minerals means which we require in a smaller amount. For example, we can say iron, copper, selenium, etc., etc. So we need all nutrients, but of course, for larger breeds and giant breeds, the requirement would of the calcium and phosphorus would be on a little bit higher end because their bone growth is going to be high and their growth pattern is also going to be high. For example, they will grow till, for example, a giant breed can grow till 18 to 36 months. A large breed can grow till 12 to 15 months. Whereas a
Okay.
small breed, it will stop its growth from between 7 to 9 months. Okay. So this is all
All
minerals are
minerals.
required. Yeah.
Okay. Um, This is again an interesting question by Ajit. A general thought is there, doctor, if we feed puppy dog food to adult dogs who need to gain weight, it will work because in puppy food, protein, carbohydrates contents is high. So most of the people feed puppy food, especially mini breed food, to adults to gain weight. Need your comment on this, doctor. Do you think it's fine? Do you, there's a reason why they have
I
variants of puppy and adult dog food. So do you think it's okay to do that?
No, I will always say that it is not required because what will happen? See, the reason why a breeder or a pet parent choose a puppy food for a adult is that it contains high proteins and it
Okay.
contains high fat. That is the only reason to increase the
Okay.
body weight. But we should
Right.
keep in mind, we should know that uh, in adults, a dog will take whatever protein is required, whatever fat is required, and the excess protein or fat will be stored as fat, which might
Okay.
lead to obesity and it might lead to many other pathological pathologies.
Right.
Okay, like fatty liver, like diabetes. So it is going to affect your pet. It is always better to feed an adult diet to an adult dog.
Right. Of
Yeah.
course. There's a reason why they have so many variants at food.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Okay. Your last answer talked a little about obesity also. So, an obese dog parent, is always worried about the increasing weight that their dogs have. Or even like a skinny dog's parent, they are always worried about the reducing weight. So, this constant worry, is it just related to the kind of diet they are being fed, like an obese dog or a skinny dog? And if it's just the diet, how can we cut down, like how to eventually, like slowly cut down the diet for an obese dog, or how to
See,
slowly increase the diet of a skinny dog? How do we do that?
and, yeah, understood. See,
Yeah.
as I mentioned earlier, a dog will not eat to fulfill its stomach. It has to
Okay.
eat depending upon its energy requirement. So when energy intake and energy output is same,
Hmm.
then the dog will maintain its lean mass. But if the energy input is high and the energy output is less, okay, energy output means that it indicates the physiological activity is going to be less, or if the energy intake by overfeeding, is more, or eating table scraps or homemade diets in addition to the pet food.
Right.
So when energy intake is more and energy output is going to be less, it might be resulting in obesity or overweight. And if the energy intake is less and energy expenditure is more, that might be a reason for cachexia or emaciation. Okay, underweight, which is called as underweight. So we have to remember that a proper ration and giving a proper diet plays a major role to in both the conditions. For example, for if you find that your dog is obese, then you
Right.
have to cut down the calories. Just imagine, it is this condition is similar to a human being. We also face the same condition. Whenever we are obese or we are overweight, we will go to the gym. Okay, and immediately the gym trainer, he will say that, sir, workout will help you 20 percentage, 80 percentage is diet.
Diet. Okay.
Okay, so through workouts, you are going to just spend the energy, but you have to reduce the intake. How you can control? You have to reduce the energy intake. So definitely during an obesity condition, the pet food should be less. The pet should be fed with a low energy diet with less fat. Okay, less fat. Why less fat? Because it has enough fat in its body which should be burnt.
Okay.
Okay, and so then we will feel that if it is less fat, then it will feel hungry. Okay, because fat is one nutrient which contributes to energy. So to compensate that, the product should be high protein. It should be high protein, and to maintain the appetite, it should be high in fiber. So this
Okay.
is that's how any obesity product is formulated. It will be a low energy, low fat, high protein and high fiber diet. And when you come to emaciation, please check the quantity which you are feeding, which we are feeding to our pet. Okay, for those conditions, we have to give a high protein, high fat diet with high energy. Usually for
Right.
dogs, anything around 4,000 calories is considered to be a high energy diet.
Right.
Understood. And anything above 18 is considered to be a high fat percentage. So please look into this. Give a complete and balanced diet, and please look at the ingredients. Not only the percentage, please look at the ingredients. Whether we are giving the right ingredient food. And this underweight, it might be also an indicator for so many diseases. So but it is not only related with the food, you have to check it with veterinarian. It might be because of a chronic kidney disease. In senior, these conditions are often seen in senior patients, chronic
Right.
kidney diseases, or for example, tumors. Okay, so you have to check that.
Okay. All right. Krupa has a question. She asks, what vegetables or fruits can we give to a 2-year-old cat?
My answer would be, it is always better if you don't give any special fruits to your cat.
Okay.
Feed them on a complete and balanced pet food. Okay, because but if you want to give a fruit, sporadically you can periodically you can give some apples. Okay, as I
Okay.
mentioned earlier, apples,
Right.
cut it into small pieces, remove the core of apple and remove the skin of apple and remove the seeds of the apple. You can
Okay.
give it, but
Okay.
my advice would be, it is always better if you make them, keep them on a complete and balanced diet. And definitely, cats, they don't have a affinity towards vegetables or fruits. They will
Right.
look for a diet which are rich in proteins. So definitely,
Right.
they will enjoy pet food more than a fruit.
Right. Okay, great. Krupa, I hope you heard that question. Talking about cats, doctor, we always hear complaints about cats not drinking enough water. Uh, when they're not doing that in their diet, what is it that can be done to ensure like complete nutrition in case of there's an absence of them drinking water, enough water?
First thing, we should understand that a cat will not drink water like a dog. For a dog, a dog will drink water equal to its metabolic energy requirement. For example, if you are feeding 500 grams to a dog, the same dog will drink 500 ml of water. But in case of cat, it will take only 60 percentage of its energy requirement.
Okay.
Okay. And one more thing is that a cat is a sensitive species. So for cats, the common mistake which we do is that we always try to keep uh, a food bowl along with a water bowl,
Right.
because that is how the bowls are available in the market. And definitely cat as a species, they will not like that. They always feel that this water would be, it might be adulterated, and so they will not drink. It is
Right.
always recommended to keep water away from the food.
Alright.
And if possible, you can if you can provide we can provide moving water, like tap water, or you can fix a
Okay.
fountains, because cats
Okay.
love to drink moving waters. And
Okay.
cat, whenever there is a stress also, a cat will not drink water.
Okay.
Stress, pain, whenever there is a stress, pain, or any disease condition, whenever a cat is uncomfortable, they will not drink water. But of course, for a common pet parent, if you believe that your cat is not drinking enough water, you can top up water by adding some wet foods. It is always a good option, because wet food contains 75 percentage of moisture.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Okay, so we can definitely feed them wet food also. There are we'll just take a few more questions from the audience, doctor, before we close the session. We have Sybil. He is asking, what about homemade food?
So I am explaining about this from the beginning.
Beginning,
So
yes.
homemade diets, of course, you can make a balanced homemade diet, but it is difficult for a common person. It is very going to be difficult. Okay. So because it is very difficult to measure how much minerals, vitamins you had added in your diet, pet's diet. So, if you ask me personally, if you have a if you have a nutritionist who can formulate you a homemade diet, then you can go for homemade diet. Otherwise, you can opt for a commercial pet food, which is complete and balanced.
Right. Okay. Krishnaraj says, my lab is facing east-west paston problem. Can Farmina joint food solve this issue?
So I would like to know what is the age of this pet and what would be the reason of the pet, because definitely it might be it. I think it might be from the birth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my advice would be definitely Farmina will help. Farmina joint food will help to improve the joint condition, and it will reduce the inflammation. But
Mhm.
regarding this condition, I don't know the exact cause for this. I would advise to please show your pet to a veterinarian.
All right.
He,
So
he might
Krishnaraj,
help. He can help you by the prognosis whether it can be
right.
cured or not. Yeah.
Right. And he also asks, is it advisable to give starter food for a pregnant dog?
100% you can give a starter food to a pregnant bitch, because the property of starter food is it is a product with high protein, high fat, and high energy, which means it is energy dense. So if you
Right.
imagine a pregnant bitch, after 42 days, when the by 42nd day the skeleton of the fetus starts to develop, and it will occupy most part of the womb, uterus, and this uterus will push the stomach to one side, so the volume of stomach is going to be less. So at this point of time, so this which is going to feed the entire fetus, and it needs high energy, but just imagine the volume of the stomach is going to be less. So starter is the ideal food for any pregnant bitch after 42nd day.
Okay.
Okay, so after the second week or third week, you can start giving starter food to your pregnant bitch, and you can continue till the lactation period. Because once it has delivered a puppy, when it has whelped a puppy, see, just imagine the again it is going to the bitch is going to give milk to the puppies. So again,
Right.
feeding 4 or 5 puppies a milk, her milk is going to be, it is going to consume lot of energy. For that, again, starter is a choice. So for pregnant and lactating bitches, and for the weaning puppies, so starter is the only option.
Okay, great. Okay, last two questions from the audience. How is Farmina better than other branded imported food in view of local ambient conditions?
See, as I mentioned, whether weather or the environment plays a very less role. It is the pet and its health. Okay.
Right,
So as I mentioned, dogs and cats, they require more proteins,
right,
and the more proteins which are easily available, bioavailability should be high. And I
right,
can assure you that Farmina is one product which use all natural ingredients, and
right,
we never use any artificial preservatives, and I can assure you that the ingredients have high biological value.
right,
Okay, even so that is why we have different ranges like NND Prime, Ancestral Grain, and one more thing, for all Farmina products, we have a property. They have a property called as low glycemic index. Low glycemic index means
yeah,
releasing the energy for a longer period of time. See, I have mentioned that for dogs, adult dogs and cats, 1 or 2 time feeding is enough. So just imagine a dog, if it is fed one time, either in the morning or either in the evening. So for the next 24 hours, it requires energy. So for a longer period of time, if the energy should be released. So we have ingredients which support those properties. For example, our NND products, they contain meat. For example, Prime product, they have 70 percentage meat. And if you look at the pumpkin product in our dog food, 96 percentage of total protein come from animal source.
okay,
Understood. So this is the quality of the product. This
right,
not only the protein meat source which supports this property. Apart from that, we have also a grain range, NND as ancestral grain, where we use oats and another grain called as spelt, which belongs to wheat family. The difference between spelt and wheat is that spelt is one grain with low glycemic index, which means it releases only, if you check the glucose level after 2 hours, the glycemic index will be around 35 to 40. And for wheat, it is above 70. And usually, if the glycemic index is above 70, it is considered to be high glycemic index. So, what happens when you give a high glycemic index food? Energy will be released quickly and energy will be diminished quickly. And so the pet will feel hunger. Understood. So that's why we support low glycemic index property and high anti-inflammatory property. As I mentioned about the omega 3 and omega 6 fatty acids, which supports anti-inflammatory properties, and it will prevent the any joint problems or skin problems, etc.
right. Okay. So, talking about pet food in general, doctor, like sometimes even I have noticed that, I've faced a complete rejection from my pet towards a particular brand or a particular diet which they used to love eating before. So, and a lot of people have that queries. So, uh, what do you suggest that how do we ease that transition, because we know when that happens it means that we need to
This
switch
is
to another
this is
brand or to another product range. So
this
how do
is
we
this is
ease that
this is the
transition?
most common problem which a pet parent faces.
Yes.
Okay, initially when you give a pet food,
Okay, we seem to have lost Dr. Anish due to some technical and internet connectivity issues. We have almost answered all the questions that you had asked Dr. Anish on the comments below, and we've covered all the questions here. Um, anyway, this brings us to the end of the session. We would love to thank Dr. Anish for people who watched the video and who asked their questions. I hope your questions on basic pet nutrition were answered properly. If not, then please drop in your queries, and if your question was left unanswered, we will be answering them personally. Meanwhile, you can check this video out on the video section of our YouTube and Facebook channel, and you can hear everything that we discussed about pet nutrition with Dr. Anish from Farmina Pet Foods. For everybody who's watching us right now, Farmina is, has made customized dietary plans available for any kind of breed and any kind of pet that you have, and it's completely free of cost. So, in case you want to enroll your pet to get a customized diet plan, you can sign up on the link that is already mentioned in the comment below and is mentioned in the video here. You can definitely sign up for a diet plan, and Farmina will be sending across a dietary plan. After all, it's just not us humans who need the best of nutrition. So with that, I take your leave. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back with more such sessions in the future, and on different topics every day. I hope you liked it.